Hey there, writer friends. As we do on Wednesdays, I want to check in with you because I just finished up yet another writing practice call with the Sovereign Writers Circle. And I love calling a few other people in who happen to catch this video to think about the topics that we wrote about today. And today I want to think about this idea of what it means to be in the world, of the world, and with the world. Now, you probably know that phrase that actually came from the Gospels: be in the world, but not of the world. And in so many ways, that's saying that you must move about in society and in our culture, but you are not made up of worldly values, but instead you're informed by heavenly ones. At least that's how I understand it from my own Catholic roots from way back in the day. And I see that phrase used here and there, and certainly I think of it in a spiritual rather than religious context myself. But as I was playing with that today, because I think it's so important right now as we're trying to maintain our creative lives, our spiritual lives, our intimate family lives, in the midst of all that's happening out there. Whether you're in California and you're worried about the fires, whether you're anywhere in America and worrying about what's going to happen on November 3rd, and whether you've gotten to early voting yet, whether you're able to hold all of this without worry, but instead just with a sense of acknowledgement and a sense of witnessing and presence. There's a lot to be said right now about this dance between being in the world and of the world. There's an interesting irony layered on top of it, of course, that when we go into the world, we must be masked. So that adds an entirely different level of complexity. Today in the Writers' Circle, what I found most interesting was where the writers went with the third option that I offered up. And that is this idea of being with the world. Now, what so often happens is that it's as if I'm sort of taking divine dictation when our weekly prompts come through. I write 2 fresh prompts for every one of our writing practice groups. And they come from anything from the book I've just been reading, the tarot card I just pulled, what my kids said over breakfast, to one of those ideas I just can't quite seem to work out on my own and want the support of my most beloved community. And this idea of being with the world, what is it like to walk beside those who are suffering and to walk beside those who are full of joy? What is it to be with the earth as she is suffering, as her water and air are being polluted, as her resources are being depleted? Some of these ideas came through for me as I was writing the prompt, but not many. Most of them came from the writers themselves, who offer such a beautiful reflection on what it means to be with the world. So that's what I would invite you to do. Sit down with your journal, with any old scrap of paper you can pull from the bottom of the recycling bin if that's what you got right now. Maybe you're someone who needs to just tap this as a note in your phone, or you're going to open a new doc and really jump in. Write about your relationship with the world. And you can take that as broad or as narrow as it needs to be. And think about what it might mean for you to be in the world, of the world, and what it means for you to be with the world. Think about it especially as we're moving towards November 3rd. Think about it as you head to the ballot box. Think of it as you encourage those who might not feel like voting or might not know how to get to the polls to do so. How can you be with the world in these next 5 days if you're an American citizen? And for those of you who are outside of our borders and watching and hoping that we do the right thing and that we find a way to put peace and decency and kindness on the ballot, I see you and I thank you for your support from afar. Those of us inside America, let's go vote. Let's go understand what it is to be part of the world again, to forget this whole America first thing and to embrace the most positive, nurturing, possibility-filled aspects of being part of the global community. I want to learn from you. I'd like you to learn from me. I'd like all of us to learn together, to grow and evolve, to figure out our climate crisis, to figure out this huge level of division we have between the rich and the poor, to find ways to eliminate the racism, the misogyny, the gender-based discrimination and violence, the transphobia that are too much part of our world. What does it mean for you to be with the world? What does it mean for you to vote with the world? What does it mean for you to stand up and be part of love and possibility and connection? What does it mean for you to write your story, to share your story, to invite others to be part of your story? And what does it mean for you to tune into the story of others? Not because it's more important than your own, but because you are part of a great global sister brotherhood, personhood. Right on, right on. Tell me what comes through for you. Blessings. And vote.